So with Parsons out, the Cowboys move forward. Dak Prescott, the guy who played the game with Jerry and won without getting traded to the tune of a $60 million contract. Here's Prescott from Sunday on the trade that sent Parsons to Green Bay.
I definitely didn't think he was going to get traded, I'll say that. But just with the way that their negotiations went down, obviously, to some extent, I mean, hell, y'all were asking me questions. It seemed like it got personal on their ends. So, that's why I wasn't surprised. But, yeah.
From a team standpoint, is it a disappointment? Do you just we're better, or how do you look at it?
I mean, we added a great player. Obviously, got some picks for the future. I'm not going to say we're better. We've got to go out there and prove it. We'd have to prove it even if he was on this team. So I'm not going to say that by any means. But I know adding a guy like Kenny Clark, adding a true leader, a real man that's going to only elevate this team, who's been a Pro Bowl player and is excited about being here. I know our focus right now is Philly. I think that's everybody's focus in that locker room. I don't think anybody's hung up on that. As I said, there was enough news and enough media about it. I think as much as anything, it's good that a solution happened. And obviously Micah got paid very well, and great for him and his family. And we'll see him here in about a month.
There was a moment where he kind of paused and inhaled, and if I read that body language, it was like, I may be saying too much. When he says Kenny Clark adding a real leader, a true leader, a real man that's going to only elevate this team, like, I think I'm saying too much. Like, just that way he breathed in. I don't want to overanalyze it, but man, I saw those words in print on Sunday.
Right.
And wrote them, and I said, we don't want to read too much into the quote, but the words can't be ignored. And that was just based on the words. Man, when I see the delivery too, and this gets back to how much of it's whispers, how much of it's fair, how much of it's real, how much of it is Micah Parsons wasn't really a leader, wasn't the leader they needed him to be. And was it a problem? And was there friction between Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons? There have been whispers of friction between the two. Brian Schottenheimer put their lockers right next to each other, presumably in an effort to enhance their relationship. So I don't know. I know he's got to move forward, Chris, and you've got to deal with the circumstances as they confront you. But I'd like to think that the guy that's going to have to deal with Micah Parsons now would be a little more upset about the fact that they traded him away and they didn't work it out.
Yeah, well, we discussed this a lot, right? I mean, one of the things I think we found a little peculiar is the fact that, was that last week or the end of the week before, where I was like, we haven't heard Dak Prescott make any Joe Burrow-like comment on Micah Parsons at all. Not saying one thing about really sticking his nose out there. We got to sign this guy. He's one of the best players. I found that a little odd, disappointing, whatever.
He did, but I do want to.
Right.
I do.
Okay.
I'm not trying to correct you. I don't want to be that guy, but I want to make sure that we're operating on the correct factual roadmap. He did say at one point, and I'll get you the date.
Okay, cool.
He said on August 8th, I can say from experience it's frustrating. I hate that he's going through it, but as I've told him, keep handling things the way you are, and I believe that he should be paid. Yeah. So he did come out and say that.
Yeah, okay, all right, good, right. I mean, I don't know if that's the same forcefulness that we've seen with Joe Burrow or anything that way, right? But either way, that's good to know. I stand corrected, certainly. But on the bigger thing, too, like when I read those quotes, I was with you. I was like, ooh, that's a little, odd to say. I think right there, right, I don't feel like he was taking a shot watching it. I feel like he realized that could be perceived as a shot, though, when he took the deep breath in and realized, wait, this doesn't mean, even though I like this player and he's a good leader, no, that doesn't mean we're going to be a better defense. We still got to prove it. So I think he realized a little bit after he said how it might be construed by some people in the big picture of things there. But either way, yeah, I mean, they're done with it. I'm sure they're happy about that. I even laughed at you. I said during the break, right? This was not a distraction. This was not a distraction. And now that it's got done, he's quoted have been, there would have been a lot more headaches and distraction than getting a solution to it, right? Now that we got a solution to it. So it was a distraction. That's why you can't always listen to players and what's going on at the time, because they're trying to say the right thing and not be a distraction with their comments either. So that's where it goes. But I'm sure they're sick of answering questions about Micah, and they're ready to move on and play some football here.
And I'll agree with you. He could have been more forceful. He did say what he said. He could have been more forceful.
Yeah,
could
right.
have been. The attitude could have been like just flabbergasted. Like, what are we doing? We need this guy. If we want to win football games, if we want to chase a championship, we need 11. He needs to have a contract that works for him, that works for the team. We need to get this done. And Joe Burrow has said, hey, this is how we do business here. You know, we drag our feet. Like, there's just certain ways that things happen.
The Eagles don't have a problem. They seem to pay the guys, right? Yes, we have to get him
back. That's what Burrow
right.
said.
I mean, right.
The Eagles have figured out how to come up with enough money to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, he made a lot of strong comments through it.
I think I made the comment as we were talking about this that it may just be as simple as I don't want to have Jerry on the phone for 45 minutes going on and on after I say this, so I'm just not going to say it because I don't want to have to deal with him like I've had to deal with him in the past when he goes on and on about whatever it is that he wants. And Dak's always stood up to him, though. Dak has resisted the allure, whatever it is. However Jerry Jones charms people into giving him what he wants, Dak had always stood firm and held his position until the Cowboys realized they painted themselves into a corner.
Right.
So Dak was in position, I think, to try to apply some pressure here, but he just chose not to, and that's his prerogative. But it's going to change things for the Cowboys clearly to not have him. There was a report that some teammates viewed Micah Parsons as egotistical. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, how is that? Like, you're talking about a guy who's one of the best players in football. I mean, you're going to have, I mean, deal with it. He's one of the best players in football. If there's some personality flaw that you don't like and you're his teammate, well, deal with it because he's going to make you better. He makes your team better. Not that it makes it right, but we've seen it time and again. When star players do things or act in a way that a reasonable person might find objectionable, you just deal with it. If you want to win, and if you want that guy with you instead of against you, you suck it up, Buttercup, and deal with it.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, I think sometimes stuff of this, like, just get one. I don't buy all of it because it's just a negative propaganda machine right now to justify, you know, the Cowboys getting rid of it. That I don't love all that. Micah Parsons, I do think, is a little bit of a loner, and that can be misconstrued the same way. I've had people tell me that there. You know, he's not always one that's just in the middle of the group. I'm the life of the party, blah, blah, blah. So he could be a little bit standoffish that way. And then, yeah, I've heard about practice too. I get that. But again, you know, these guys know what's best for them in this type of player. I was around superstar players who they didn't even practice certain days because they were going to rest every week in the prime of their career. You listen to somebody that played with Darrelle Revis at the Jets, right? Anybody there will tell you, man, practice, you know, he kind of just like went through the motions and had his technique down. But it wasn't like, oh my gosh, look at him every day just shutting everybody down. Then it became time to play football, and then it went, okay, now all that technique work, and now I'm going to ramp up the intensity all the way, and nobody's going to get a catch. So that's, to me, stuff that's just like BS from the haters maybe within the organization and the people that are, you know, trying to paint this a bad way. You deal with it, like you said, and it's not going to be perfect, and he ain't the first superstar. And that's, again, what we talked about earlier, too, with Dallas. They've had a lot of other characters there with a lot of other bigger issues than Micah Parsons. So I think it's funny that we're worried about him because he does a podcast or he doesn't hang with all the guys all the time. That to me is kind of funny.
Yeah, until Micah Parsons stabs a teammate in the neck with scissors and apparently nicks his jugular, don't talk to me about antisocial behavior in the locker room. So, and that's exactly what Michael Irvin did, and he talked about it in that Cowboys docuseries. And the way Irvin told the story, hell, it sounds like it was worse than it was previously reported to be. So, the other reality too is, and as you said, it's part of this whisper campaign. It's PR. It's the press conference they did last Thursday night. That's we got to hold this together. You know, not that they run the risk of a boycott. I made that point after the trade happened. Like, it's hard for football fans to deprive themselves of the thing they love. But for that, I'd say to all Cowboys fans, don't go to a game. Don't watch a game. Screw them for doing this. But they have us. Every team that we love has us. They can they can do things that would drive us away because we're not going to be driven away because we love the experience of following the favorite team and getting caught up in it. But they still have some work to do, whether it's holding a press conference, Chris, or hey, Deron Bland, he's been in the right place at the right time when Micah Parsons about to cave in a quarterback. He's in the right place at the right time when it's time to throw out some money because, and I thought it was hilarious. He's entering the last year of his contract, and all of a sudden, he's got his contract. See, we know how to pay players. Let's pay the guy who had 5 pick sixes fueled by the fact that Micah Parsons was breathing down the neck of the guy who coughed up the football.
No, I hear you all of that, man. I hear you all. His effect, Micah Parsons, what he did for the game, the team, whatever. Like stats and analytics can't quantify that to that extent. That's what amazing football player he is, right? That's what we talk about. F the play up and all those things there. No statistical value for F in the play up, but all the things that happen after that added to the other guy's statistics are all because of him, and that's the effect Micah Parsons has on a game.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.